Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Today I'll be showing you yet another Minimoog restoration I've completed here. And this video is also for Roy, who owns this really nice 74 Minimoog. So Roy just going to make you a video as well here going over everything. And for you guys that enjoy watching, feel free to watch. I always enjoy reading the comments, and it's always nice to see you guys on there. But anyways, what we have a 74 Minimoog like I'd mentioned. Once again, it's an early 74, so we have those rare square head knobs. It's kind of rare to get two right after another with those same knobs, but here we are. But this one pretty much got the same treatment I do to all Minimoogs. Of course, you guys have seen the treatments. Stripped this one down, delaminated the interface panel, rebuilt the keyboard assembly, new key bushings, full alignment, cleaned the chassis really good, cleaned all the pots, to actually physically take them apart, flushed them, cleaned them up really good, cleaned all the switches. Went to all electronics, replaced all common failure trend components, did a few things to improve this particular Minimoog, such as the dead zone mod for the pitch wheel, and some other things internally, just to really make it more reliable. But it looks really great. You can see just how clean this thing looks. Bring on around here, and of course I conditioned the wood cabinet, so it's been conditioned. Cleaned everything really good as far as the back here. Now this one actually has a cool sticker on it, so we left that sticker on there. As requested by Roy. But it's still number 3917. It's the serial number of this one, as you can see. So 3917. Clean the back panel, clean the under chassis, so everything's really good and clean. New power cord installed, as you can see. Got a nice power cord down there. And going around here. Sorry, the train's coming by outside. Here's the other side of it. And once again, just a nice look down at the interface panel here. Just how great this thing looks. It's really clean. I hand washed all the knobs. Had to glue some of the inserts back into some of the knobs that came loose. Not a big deal. I see that quite often. But you can just see how great it looks. Here's all the old stuff out of this one. So here's the old power cord. As you can see, it was starting to come apart here at the end of the plug, and it's just kind of rotten. So replace that. All the parts replaced, new capacitors, common failure trend stuff there. Here's the delaminate, the laminate I removed from the interface panel. Somebody had stuck these Moog logos on it. And this Minimoog actually has some history. I'll share a little bit of history of what I found out about this particular Minimoog. It belonged to a band called Goden, and that's where it came from. And then Roy bought it from the estate of the keyboard player who passed away. So it does have some history on it. So that's where this Minimoog came from. But anyways, let me put this camera on the tripod here, and I'll give you guys a good sound demo of it. So anyways, let's start first, just like I always do. I'll start with the oscillators, show you that all the oscillators are working really well. Then we'll go to the filter, envelope generators, modulations, etc. here. But here it is first with all three oscillators combined. You can hear just how great the footages are between each other now. I did add the buffer board, which helped a lot on this particular Minimoog. And so here we go. Here's all three oscillators. I'm going to go through the footages, kind of show you the waveforms a little bit, and I'll break it down per oscillator. So here we go. So anyways, you know how great those oscillators sound against each other? Now I'll break it down and show you each oscillator independently. So we'll start with oscillator 1. I've also done the dead zone to this Minimoog. I'll be showing you that as well in oscillator 1. But first we'll start with the ranges. I'll show you the ranges independently, the waveforms independently, so you can actually hear each oscillator by itself. So here we go. Good clean volume pot. So there's oscillator 1. I'll go back here and show you on oscillator 1 as well the pitch wheel. How it has true dead center now. So when I move the wheel, you can see I can wiggle it within the detent and it doesn't cause a pitch shift. This prevents you from having sharps and flats when you turn the wheel to the center detent. So anyways, you can hear how that works. So that's oscillator 1. Here's oscillator 2. Once again, good clean volume pot. Here's oscillator 3. Once good clean volume pot there. And now I'll go back and show you the detune. So here's detune of oscillator 2. So there's oscillator 2 detune. Here's oscillator 3 detune. And there's your oscillators. So you can see how just great your oscillators are working there against each other, as well as independently with the footages and everything. And the pitch wheel works the same for all 3 oscillators as far as that dead zoning. So there's that. Here's your noise source. Good clean volume pot here as well. That's white. Here's pink. So there's your noise source working like it's supposed to work. And so now we'll turn our attention to the filter. So let me get the filter set up here. We'll turn everything off, make sure our oscillators are off, and envelope set down. So here we go. We'll put the filter into self-oscillation. Turn on 440 Hertz. So you can hear it's not tracking the keyboard right now. I got tracking off for the filter. It's going to be 1 set frequency. So we can hit tracking 1. Sounds like that. Turn that off. Here's tracking 2. When they're both on though, sounds like that. Now let's tune it to the note reference. So here's your filter now set to the note of A, and you can hear how it actually sounds. Now something I always love to do with the filter is put a little reverb on it. Put a little glide on that. And we can combine our oscillators back with that, and you'll get something like this. And of course, we can play with the harmonics of the filter. We'll leave our oscillators on. I'm going to open that filter up, change our frequency of our filter. So anyways, you get the idea of the filter there. I'll turn the oscillators back off. So now we're just back there. I'll turn the reverb back off here. So now we're back just to a clean Minimoog signal. So while we're in the filter section, I will show you also the amount of contour for the filter. So this is your contour for your filter. So we'll play with that a little bit. So we got the amount of contour set to 0. I'll bring that up. You'll hear just a click. As you can see, it's going to be like a click. We'll start with the attack. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit so we have a lower frequency. So here's our attack. Like I said, I can adjust the frequency by into the filter by adjusting our amount of contour. As you can hear. So there's our attack. Here's our decay. So there's our attack. Of course, that's only at like 2. It'll go all the way to 10, so it's got a really long decay time. Set that back to 0. It's just a click. And that will bring up our sustain level. This sets how low the actual decay goes. Sounds like this. So we'll turn on the decay switch over here. So we have sustain. You can actually tune it. So you get something like that right there. Bring it back down. You can see that goes all the way back to 0. So anyways, that's your filter contour. So this thing back to 0, got it turned off here, and the amount of contour. So that's your filter and your envelope generator or contour for your filter. So now we'll open this filter back up here. We'll go back here and turn our oscillators back on. Something like that. Now we'll go down here to loudness contour. I'll set everything to 0. I've got it right now set where it'll just kind of sustain for me when I have the decay switch on. So right now it's going to be just a click. As you can hear, we'll start with the attack. So there's our attack. Of course, that's only at 5. We'll bring up our decay. the same thing, that's only at 2 on the decay. Set that back to 0. And the same thing, we got another sustain level. It sets how low that decay actually goes. And if you put just a little decay with that, get that kind of punchy sound, you can actually make a kind of percussive. So you get something like that. We'll bring that back down. So right now, I also explain this decay switch. So right now you can see I have to hold in a key to get the decay time. If I flip the decay switch, it's going to fly out the decay even when I left a key. So you get something like that. Otherwise, and there's your envelope generators or contour generators. So now we'll turn our attention back to the filter for just a second, and I'll show you the modulation. So we'll go back here, make the filter oscillate again, turn the oscillators off. Let's go here, make sure. There we go. Our filter's track again. I'm going to turn oscillator 3 into an LFO source. We'll go here and make it a triangular wave. Put on our filter modulation switch here. We got the modulation mix over here set to oscillator 3. So now when I bring up the modulation wheel, it's going to modulate the filter. Of course, you can change the rate of your LFO now by changing your oscillator 3 detune. So you can hear, and we can actually change the waveform by changing our waveform switch for oscillator 3. Of course, we can combine that with our envelope generator, our contour generator. Get something like that right there. Or you can do some really fun stuff with the FM synthesis by turning this oscillator back into a high frequency. And then you got some craft work. And they got the talking Minimoog. Bring down our wheel. So there you go. You kind of hear how that modulation works. So you can get LFM synthesis as well as just typical modulations just by simply... And of course you can turn tracking back on. So we can put tracking back on the oscillator. And it'll actually change the speed of the oscillator based on where you're at in the keyboard. We can also go over to modulation mix, pan this to noise. Here we can actually mix noise into the modulation bus. And that's what this knob over here does. So that's your filter. We can open this filter back up. We'll go to the oscillator section. You've got the same thing over here. You've got a modulation selection here to modulate your oscillators. So it sounds like this right here. So that was it with the noise. That's pink noise, white noise. And as I mentioned on my last Minimoog video too, something I love to do with Minimoogs, in particular, I leave it in the noise, put it in white. I'll set our oscillators kind of high in frequency. We'll make a slow attack. Close this filter up a little bit. I'm just going to make a sound real quick here. Here. We engage noise. We add a little reverb to that though. You can do some Devo kind of stuff there as well with it. But anyways, that's your modulation section. You kind of see how that works. And once again, you can put high frequency into the oscillators off Oscillator 3 as well. It just isn't as effective as it is in the filter. But you do get some cool LFM stuff there as well. You hear there. We can also make this thing into a ring modulator in some standards, because we can go here. No oscillators. all I did there was I turned tracking off the filter. Now the oscillator's tracking, so we got right the opposite kind of tracking. But you can play the frequency of your oscillator, which is now kind of your carrier. So just some crazy stuff there. We'll end with some musical stuff here. A little Rick Wakeman there for you. But anyways, as you can see, this Minimoog is fantastic. And I just want to take a minute here and go over it for you, Roy, as well as all you guys that watch my videos. Always appreciate it. And once again, Roy, appreciate you giving me the opportunity to restore this thing for you and get it back into really nice condition. And for all you guys that watch my videos, appreciate all you guys watching. There'll be more to come here very soon. Take care.